Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. So let's talk a bit about NVIDIA. Obviously, we had TSMC report earnings, great increase in profit as well. I made a video about the company before the earnings came out. If you want to check that out, it's going to be in the top right corner. Now, as for NVIDIA, it has been, well, not such a great year for the company. Obviously, last quarter wasn't great. Outlook wasn't good as well. Now they're only expecting $5.9 billion in revenue for this quarter. We're going to have a look at all of that in this video, but this is the state of the company and the stock right now. So yes, revenue has been going up and up and up in recent years and quarters, so that's great, but as you can see, it is plateauing a little bit, and that's normal. Cyclical companies, especially semiconductors, this is bound to happen. As you can see, back in 2018, we peaked, then went back down. This was mainly because of, well, the crypto winter, but since then the company has, well, a new money baby, let's call it, which is data centers, which I'm going to touch on later on in this video. Now, as for free cash flow, it's free cash flow positive in the last 12 months, $6.26 billion. Yes, that has been coming down as well. Return on equity is still very, very high here, 34.41%. Great. Gross profit margin sits at just over 60%. Let's see what happens next quarter. Maybe it will be below 60, maybe not, remains to be seen. Now, with regards to NVIDIA and TSMC, Intel, AMD, basically every big player in the semiconductor industry, obviously the news came out with the restrictions of selling to China. So obviously with NVIDIA, that came out a bit earlier, as we've talked about that. Now, new restrictions came out. We talked about that in the TSMC video, but NVIDIA actually told Reuters that they do not expect material impact from the new US restrictions. So that's great to hear. We also have a new price target from Citi. They lowered it from $248 to $210. So the analysts reduced estimates for the cloud data-centric semis, while this supply chain discussion continued to indicate cloud compute demand remains 15 to 20% above supply at US hyperscalers. The analyst says slowing macro and advertising sales will likely impact cloud capex growth to 10% from 15% this year. Malik assumes no major impact from new China controls like sales of highly dense systems, noting that NVIDIA believes these regulations impose on the broader industry controls for processors hitting certain thresholds that they were already subjected to. So there is that. Now I'm going to do a little recap, but before that, I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Now, Stock Advisor has actually beat the market comfortably over the years. So all you have to do is go to fool.com/couchinvestor or go and check the links down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the best 10 stock picks now. So a small recap of what has been happening with the company in the last couple of quarters and why the next two ones will probably still be one of the most difficult ones, but once we're over that, it will become a bit easier. I'll explain why. So this is the picture for NVIDIA since Q3 fiscal year 2021. Now, I'm saying that in fiscal year 2024 for NVIDIA, so by next year, you might see the company lapping easier comparisons. Now, as I've been saying in each and every video in the last couple of months, gaming is becoming smaller while data center keeps on growing. Obviously, the pace of growth might have slowed down. That's what to be expected in the current macro environment. But unlike 2018, now data center can pick up the, let's say, damage that the gaming segment has done. Also, we have professional visualization, but that has also taken a hit last quarter. But auto, to my surprise, has increased quite nicely year over year and even quarter over quarter. And of course, the outlook was $5.9 billion for next quarter, which is just above Q1 fiscal year 2022. And a quick reminder for those that maybe forgot, so gaming and professional visualization revenue are expected to decline sequentially as OEMs and channel partners reduce inventory levels to align with current levels of demand and prepare for our new product generation. We expect that decline to be partially offset by sequential growth in data center and automotive. That said, still a very, very big decline for a company that is still today not that cheap compared to its peers. Let's say AMD, especially Intel, but then again, Intel has its own issues, which we've covered on this channel as well. Now, NVIDIA, why are the next 2 quarters still going to be difficult, but after that is going to be easier? Well, because if you look at these numbers right here, as you can see, Q3, Q4 last year were still very, very strong quarters. And I mean, even Q1 this year was pretty strong. But once we lap these difficult quarters, which we're going to do in next year, right? It's for them fiscal year 2024. For the usual calendar, it's just in 2023. Once we lap those difficult quarters, it will be much easier for the company to have those better, let's say, year-over-year increase in revenue. Of course, it also depends on the macro environment, high inflation, what happens with their channel partners, etc., and maybe even some events, China, Taiwan, you never know. But overall, once we lap those difficult months, it will become much easier for the company and especially the stock. And when talking about valuation, right, if you look at the forward PE for this company, right now, if you look at price to earnings ratio in the next 12 months or maybe here above the forward PE, 34.5x. So it is still quite expensive. Yes, in the future, it will continue to grow and grow. But in the short term, again, you will have 2 difficult quarters. So maybe some investors might see these numbers and say, maybe this is still very expensive. I rather go with, I don't know, AMD, for example. Now, of course, if you compare it to other quarters in the past, then yes, it is much cheaper than before. I mean, right now, that number is much cheaper than the majority of quarters that you see here up until, well, I can only show you up until Q1 fiscal year 2021. But again, I want to remind everyone that you're not buying a stock, a company like NVIDIA for the near term. You're not buying this company for the next couple of months or even 1 or 2 years. You're probably buying a company like NVIDIA because you want it to be in your portfolio for more than 5, maybe even 10 years, or maybe even forever. Because to be honest, NVIDIA is really in a couple of segments that will keep on growing and can only accelerate here on out. Automotive. Do we need more chips, more AI? Yes. Professional visualization. Productivity is going up as more and more things become digital, as we've seen with Meta Connect, VR, AR. You can do so many things with that. And then obviously data center, still something that is growing extremely fast. Obviously, yes, the gaming segment will always have its cyclicality, so that's something to take into consideration. But will we need more or less GPUs in the future? I think we're going to need more. Now, of course, with Ethereum, etc., not needing GPUs anymore, they're taking a hit there. But overall, are they in many, many segments that will keep on growing for years to come? Yes. Is the company still expensive? Yes. Are we still going to see some challenges with regards to semiconductors? Yes, as well. But think 5, 10 years from now or even more. Is the company going to be worth more or less? That's a question you have to ask yourself, not just for NVIDIA, but for every other company you plan on investing today. Let's say, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.